I would like to start off by saying it is a true godsend that Stalker 2 has finally released. It's a miracle that we have received from the great wish granter. Literally, all odds were against this game ever coming out. But the devs at GSC Game World have triumphed over every obstacle that's been in their way. From this game being announced in 2010, over a decade ago, GSC completely shutting their doors and giving the community full rights to distribute whatever they wanted to with the trilogy so that its legacy would never be forgotten. Then, to the surprise of every Stalker fan, GSC found a way to revive their studio in 2014. Then in 2018, they announced that they were going to bring back the Stalker 2 project back from the dead, only for their entire country being invaded by Russia in 2022. Even having developers on the front lines fighting for their freedom, some even tragically losing their lives. Oh, and by the way, Putin can go f himself. But now, it's 2024 and Stalker 2 is finally ours. No longer do we have to wait to traverse the zone in UE5's beautiful glory. No longer do we have to throw 1,000 mods on Anomaly, even though I'll still be doing it. But all that begs the question, what is up with Ubisoft and EA? What is their excuse? Shitty heartless title after shitty heartless title. But that's a topic for another YouTuber's video. This game may not be the most polished AAA experience we've had ever, but honestly, what game in the past 5 years has been? It honestly blows away most games out of the water whenever it comes to polish. Also, if they would have pushed back this game again, fans would have gone insane. I think this game has been pushed back at least 3 times this year, and multiple others previous years. Though I do think this game did need more time in the oven, and we'll get to that later in the video, but it turned out way better than I could have hoped for. It took true heart and dedication for GSC to even create this game, so there is no doubt in my mind that GSC will fix every single issue present in Stalker 2. It's a rare thing to see nowadays any developer giving this much of a shit about their game. And I hope that this game starts a new trend in developers actually thinking that they can step outside the box and do something different and actually care about a project. Instead of these heartless corporations that just try to use any trick in the book to steal any money they can out of your pocket. Now, as of recording, this game has been out for a little over 2 weeks. And before I made a video about my true thoughts on Stalker 2, I wanted to dig deep and put some real time into the game. Now, before you go down in the comments and tell me, Tarks, you're a fucking rookie, that is some bitch time. Just know that whenever I'm sitting at my desk in my full-time job, that I am praying to the monolith that whenever I get home, I can immerse myself in the zone. I literally can't stop thinking about this game. I'm hyper fixated over it. I'm about midway through the story, and I'm just terrified that whenever I get on Reddit or anything, that I just get freaking spoiled on the story. I can't think of another game right now that has excited me this much to explore a massive open world other than Red Dead Redemption 2. And Stalker 2's open world is completely crafted by hand. There is no procedural generation like you see in other UE5 games. This world is completely constructed by hand. There is a meaning for everything being in its certain place, and no area is exactly the same. You just don't see that anymore. You don't see unique buildings. You don't see unique environments. You just see the same copy and pasted building, the same copy and pasted tree, the same copy and pasted environments, biomes. Everywhere you go in Stalker 2 is different. And they absolutely nailed the atmosphere from the original trilogy. I don't know why, but most UE5 games, they have pretty much the same art style, and Stalker 2 actually has its own identity like the original trilogy did. And that's honestly a step in the right direction for UE5, because I feel like most UE5 games, other than some exceptions, their worlds don't feel alive like Stalker 2 does. Not saying they're all like that, but kind of a lot of them are. And don't even get me started on the graphics. It's got all the lumen, nanite, ray tracing you can imagine. Now, it is kind of interesting that this is all on by default. You can't turn it off, which definitely is a bummer for people with low-end PCs. I fortunately do have the benefit of having a higher-end PC with a Ryzen 7800 3DX and a 4070 Super. I mean, it's not the highest end you can have, but it's a pretty high end, especially for 1440p. But even on high settings, I only get about 70 to 80 FPS, but that's without DLSS and frame generation on. This game still needs a lot of work on optimization. So hopefully after we start getting some more patches, we will get lower NPCs start to roll in and be able to play the game. But along with the graphics, they just nailed the fucking atmosphere of Stalker. Once again, I mean, did you have any doubts? I didn't. The world still does a great job of you feeling like you're just a small fry in a giant world that just wants to bite your head off. And can do it as easy as you just accidentally taking the wrong step and stepping into an anomaly that blows you to smithereens. Or a bloodsucker waiting to emerge from the shadows for the perfect moment to strike and bite your sweet little pecker off. The game never ceases to remind you you're just a little guy in a big, scary world. And you can't talk about this atmosphere without mentioning its intense, terrifyingly realistic sound design. Every little water droplet in a cave, every lightning strike, every creak from the wood that you're stepping on, a whistle in the wind, every growl you hear in the darkness, every earth-shattering emission, all of these factors glue together to make a world that doesn't give a fuck about you. All of that paired with the game's amazing attention to detail with the weapons. I mean, whoever designed these things needs a huge raise. Now, before we get into some of the negative things about this game, the developers have been very transparent about its issues, as well as being very responsive with the community in their Discord, answering all types of questions about the development of the game and what issues they might be fixing in the future. There's already tons of mods made by the community that fix some of these issues though, and I will be making a mods list video in the future with all the mods that I use to improve my experience in the zone. But before we get into all that, I would like to ask you to subscribe to the channel, as I will be making future content on Stalker 2, as well as hosting some live streams of the game on the channel. Okay, let's start with the elephant in the room, the A-Live system. However, this will be patched eventually, but the devs have said it may take some time. The devs have gone on record saying that this thing is completely busted. It might just spawn enemies right behind you, it might just spawn no enemies. I mean, here I am in these next few clips just walking through Red Forest and Truck Cemetery like it's nothing. Nothing is spawning, nothing's attacking me, it's just boring. Which, coming from classic Stalker and Anomaly, these are the most dangerous areas in the entire zone. This is by far the biggest issue of the game. And if it wasn't for the atmosphere, it would completely ruin immersion. But when A-Live does actually work, it's actually a pretty good experience. But it's honestly very rare, which the devs have talked about how optimization is a huge issue with it. I mean, I can understand because it's a massive seamless open world. I mean, how are they going to get this huge system to work that completely makes the entire zone alive? So hopefully we don't have to wait too long for A-Live to be fixed, but it will take quite a while. Also, what's with this 80s ass flashlight? I can't see 10 feet in front of me. In the classic games, they even had night vision and better flashlights. This has to be some kind of weird optimization issue. The developers have responded to the community about this in the Discord, and they say they are implementing things to help with visibility at night. However, it would probably have to come from a major update. But there is already a few mods for better flashlight and night vision. But the night vision one is kind of just an overlay. So all you immersive guys that want to see them flip down, it doesn't do it yet. But we'll get to that in the future, hopefully. Oh, and another thing, where are the binoculars? I guess this is also an optimization issue. They don't want you to see too far because the game will look like shit or whatever, but they were a major feature in the original trilogy. There is also code for night vision, better flashlights, and binoculars in the game. So hopefully we'll get all of this stuff implemented in the game eventually. But I also do want to bring up that at launch, the price for repairs on weapons and armor was insane. But the devs have already adjusted this a little bit with one of their updates. But that's not even a major issue in the game really, because you can install a mod that will let you change the price of anything. You can change the percent of whatever anything costs, so it's not a big thing. But with all that being said, there are some more issues with the game, but GSC has already came out with 3 updates in the past 3 weeks, which shows that they're hard at work getting all these patches out for you so that you can experience the zone the way that it should be. And also showing that they're really listening to the community about this game. They really want you to have the best experience possible in the zone. So I'm not going to hark too long about all the issues with the game, because I know that most new games that come out have a shitload more issues, and GSC is actually working hard at fixing all of these. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and give them time to fix the game. And if you're one of those people that can't stand any bugs in a video game, maybe just wait 6 months and everything will be worked out. I have faith in GSC. This will be, and already is, the sequel that we've all been waiting for. So I hope you're also enjoying your time in the zone, and I will see you in the next one.